It's something that my mother actually always used to remind me of because I was bullied all the time, right? Because I was like, Mom, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not this, and I still have those insecurities. And even when my marriage failed, I was like, wow, I wasn't the best wife, I wasn't this, I wasn't that. And so when my mom would always tell me that scripture over and over and over again.
And what scripture was that?
You are beautifully and wonderfully made. Marvelous how that works.
Amazing. All right, welcome back. I am Micah Smith, and I am the host of the Rebuild and Rise show. And today I have a very, very special guest. And what's really unique about her is that we actually met through business. And through our business friendship, we actually grew into friends, like real friends, and became best friends. And I believe it came through, I don't even know where it started, but she is a very inspirational woman to me. And I'm someone that if I'm friends with someone, I really hold them to a very high standard. And she inspires me every day. And I'm very grateful to not only work with you, but I'm grateful to call you my best friend. I'm grateful to have you in New York. So, all the way from California, I would actually like to introduce my best friend, Michelle Elise. Michelle Elise, if you could tell the audience just a little bit about you and your background so that they can learn everything that I know about you.
Well, it's gonna be a long time if I do that. But I have so many different backgrounds, honestly, but the current backgrounds that I have right now, I'm actually CEO and founder of a virtual assistant company, and I'm also a children's author. So I write personal development books for kids. I'm working on a credit repair one, actually, one for kids. So I'm super excited about that. And I am a goofball, so you might as well get paid to be a goofball. So I actually dabble in stand-up comedy, excuse me, as well. So keynote speaker, and I'm also a sales trainer.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well,
Mhm.
welcome.
Thanks.
I'm super excited. We're going to go pretty deep today.
Yeah.
And I'm just a believer that our stories are meant to be shared. And so I hope, and if there's anything that's just too much, just let me know and we can move past the conversation. But I really wanted to dive deep because I truly believe that your story is one of inspiration and triumph. And so I'm gonna jump in. I actually had an opportunity to read Ronnie the Rhino, and this is an incredible book for children. And however, the lesson was so powerful. So as I was reading this, I thought to myself, my goodness, I think every adult needs to read this because I know myself personally, I suffer with constant, am I good enough? Am I just always thinking to myself that there's things that I want to change and I have a lot of insecurities,
Mhm.
and I feel like these are things that we catch as we grow up, and maybe somebody made fun of us at a certain age. And so I just wanted to ask you, what was the inspiration behind Ronnie the Rhino, and is Ronnie the Rhino, is that a reflection of you?
It's a great question. So inspiration is pretty deep. It is a reflection of myself, and I didn't realize that it was a reflection of myself until I finished writing it. So, it's so funny. I'm not a children's writer. I've don't ever ask me to spell anything correctly or know the difference between saw and seen. But, I just one day I was in a really bad place actually in my life. I was 8 months pregnant, didn't know whether or not I was gonna be a single mom at the time. And I was just lying there in bed and I seen my stuffed rhino
Mm,
that which was, bought for me by my ex-husband actually. And it had a picture of me and my kids and
mm,
us all together. And my whole thought was like, why is everything changing?
mm,
Why is everything crushing down now all of
mm,
a sudden?
mhm,
And so I started getting my pen and pad, and I started reflecting back on how I was when I was a kid.
mhm,
I was bullied pretty bad as a kid. I
mm,
was definitely the oddball, but I wanted to be the oddball who was everybody's friend, you know? I was a huge tomboy, but yeah, I wanted to have all the girly girl friends, right? I was Sasquatch, hairy, so, like, I was just a bunch of things, right, that they picked on me for, right?
Mhm.
And I remember one time I had actually a really good group of girlfriends, and I had one friend was actually my best friend, my first best friend that I've ever had in my life. And one day, out of nowhere, they just all wrote a note saying, "We no longer want to be your friend." They all signed it. This is in 5th grade. Now think about this, guys. This is 5th grade. I'm about to be 40, and it still affects me till this day. And so, wrote, "We don't want to be your friend. You're this, you're that," just ugliness. And the thing that broke my heart the most is my best friend signed that.
Wow.
And so that day, I'm like, man, I must really be what they say I am. I must not be enough. I must not be worth to be anybody's best friend. So, I started just kind of shutting myself out, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be nobody's best friend. I'm just going to be kind of like this little floater person,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I was. I was just going from friends to friends to friends. I never let anybody get close and never let anybody get
Mhm.
in. But like Ronnie, I just said, you know what? I may be different. People may not like me. So instead of getting close to anybody, I'm just going to have a lot of friends and I'm going to make sure everybody's my friend little by little, here and there, but nobody's ever going to get close again. Because, and it's what's funny is I still know the names of all those people.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you'll never forget.
Never.
Sure. Sure.
And so I reflected back on that day
Yeah.
and then to the present day where I was sitting in bed thinking, God, this is happening to me again.
Oh, wow.
The person that was my best friend now just said, I'm not enough anymore.
Wow.
So I don't know why I looked at the rhino and I was just sobbing and I was like, well, I already named him. His name was Ronnie because every time we were to go to the zoo or go anywhere, I'm the mom who always wants to name everything, right? So I was like, "That's Ronnie, Ronnie the Rhino," because I love rhinos.
Yeah.
The reason why I love rhinos is they got tough skin,
Mm.
and I had to build tough skin for myself in order for me to just keep going, right?
Yeah.
And rhinos always focus on moving forward. They don't like to
Yeah.
go backward.
Yeah.
And so that's what's my favorite animal.
Wa
So I just started writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. And by that time I was done, I was like, this is pretty good. I was like, yeah, but nothing will ever come of it.
Mhm.
And a good friend of mine at the time, she sent it to her daughters and she goes, you need to publish this. I was like, I don't know how. I just wrote it. I go, this is like journaling for me. This was like
Yeah.
me bringing in my inner child
Mm.
and just putting it to paper.
Yeah.
Like it was not supposed to be anything big. It was not supposed to be published. Like his imagination was in my mind as far as what he looked like and everything. But I just, I never thought it would come to fruition. So, yeah.
Wow.
But that was the inspiration behind that. It was a tough moment in my life where I was in the same place that I was in 5th grade, but now as an adult.
Wow. I I can't tell you how many people are probably gonna say they're gonna be able to relate to your story
Mhm.
of things that they've experienced as a child, that they've carried with them into adulthood, and then they experience something again as an adult, and it just reopens that wound.
Mhm.
And it's just I love that you found such an amazing outlet. I think it is so powerful. And for everyone here, I really hope that if you have children, if you're an adult, pick up the book because like the simplification of the principle behind this little book, I'm not kidding you, it really actually helped me because there's not a day that doesn't go by and people have no idea, right? Like we're all fighting battles that
Yeah.
nobody would know anything about, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't have something that I struggle with.
Yeah.
And I have deeply rooted insecurities that I've worked through every single day and I continue to do every single day, but this was a really good reminder of the uniqueness that we all have. And I love that in the book you highlight, well, there's just one you.
Mhm.
There's just one you. And sometimes I think we forget that very, very important principle.
Yeah.
And I had a question for you as well, because you actually highlighted a scripture in the book. Can you talk about that?
Yes, it's something that my mother actually always used to remind me of because I was bullied all the time, right? Because I was like, Mom, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this. And I still have those insecurities. And, even when my marriage failed, I was like, wow, I wasn't the best wife. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. And so when my mom would always tell me that scripture over and over and over again.
And what
You are,
scripture was that?
you are beautifully and wonderfully made.
Right.
Marvelous how that works.
Amazing.
And my mom's like, you were made in God's image. So if you're not enough, it's because you're not enough for the right people.
Yeah.
And maybe you're too much. And so that's what makes you unique.
Yeah.
And so I actually dedicated this book to my mother.
No.
Because, she would remind me of that all the time. Like, you're just different. Like, you're not for those people. God takes people out of your life for a reason,
Yeah.
and places, other people in your life for
Yeah.
a reason as well. So yeah, I had a lot of struggles with that, but that's, yeah,
Wow.
that's why I had that, 'cause it's something I have to remind myself all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. So I want to ask you something very, very personal. I want to ask you because I feel like I have had this experience. And so I'd like to hear from your perspective, especially given the book. So I'd like to ask you about a time when you almost lost your uniqueness.
I didn't almost, I think I did.
Hmm.
I did.
Hmm.
And it's because I loved somebody else more than I loved myself.
Hmm.
More than I loved God at a time.
Hmm. So
So
someone who's in that type of situation, what would you tell them?
if anybody's making you feel like you're losing your uniqueness or allowing you to love them more than you love yourself, that's not somebody you need to associate yourself with, be with. They're just not for you in that moment, you know. And that's, if you ever feel like you're losing yourself or your own identity, then you need to actually not ignore the red flags, because I ignored them.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I did, and I take full responsibility, because I purposely ignored them because I wanted something else more than I wanted myself.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, you know, you're gonna have regret, yes, but at the same time, it was also a big lesson for me to learn, because I was able to develop and grow somebody else, somebody new, somebody stronger, somebody I didn't even know who existed.
Yeah.
So in a way, it was definitely something that was painful, and that girl's gone now for sure. But it wasn't. I mean, it was by my choice. But at the same time, it's like, if you love who you are, you can always grow yourself when it's your decision.
Yeah.
But when you're changing yourself for someone else and completely losing yourself and your own uniqueness and your own identity, then you might as well, it's like, come steal from me. You know what I mean? It's like you're leaving the door unlocked and just
Mm.
take.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's definitely, if you ever feel that, then immediately put a stop to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard.
It's
And
very hard.
what I like about our friendship is I get a first row experience. I get to watch your transformation. And they say, the proverbial they, and a lot of my mentors, is we talk about when you push through the obstacles, when you push through the pain, you have the opportunity to meet another version of yourself. And that's what's happening to you right now. You're meeting this other version of you, and the whole world gets to meet another version of you. And, I think that it is, and again, this entire podcast is about rebuilding and rising. And that's exactly why I wanted you on the show, because you're the epitome of rebuilding and rising.
Yeah.
So I think that's amazing, though, that one day, and maybe it was a slow thing, maybe it was something that happened instantly. And actually, why don't you answer that? Was it something that happened? Was it just one day you just woke up and you were like, oh my gosh, I don't know who I am anymore? Or was it just something slowly but surely you just started to pick the pieces up?
It was very it was very slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand the word, "You're a glutton for punishment."
Mm-hmm.
until I kept punishing myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, when somebody pushes you away long enough, you eventually start waking up,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how it was for me. Like, it was slow and gradual and painful.
Wow.
And again, I put myself through that because I wanted something so bad. It literally felt like, imagine having somebody that you love dying right before your eyes, and you feel like you can save them, but they don't want to be saved.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's what it felt like every single day.
Wow.
And so it's, and obviously that's not the case, but I mean, it's just what it felt like. And until I had to realize, like, I need to just let this go
Mm-hmm.
because I'm hurting myself
Mm-hmm.
more than I'm hurting the other person
Sure.
or trying to keep the other person or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was slow. It was very, very slow, as in years,
Wow.
you know? So,
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, how did you begin to heal and rebuild your self-worth, especially while raising your 3 darling girls?
I had to make a decision, obviously, when it came to my daughters. There is, your mama bear turns on, and
Mm.
nobody can ever teach you how to turn on your mama bear. It's just you have it in you.
Instinctual.
It's instinctual. And, honestly, it was one day, somebody, I won't name their names, but somebody said, "Michelle, you're chasing him and they're chasing you.
Mm.
You need to stop."
Mm.
And that right there was a big, like, reset.
Wow.
And so I just went on all out mode. I got angry at myself, really. Um, and I just went into, I'm somebody that they're gonna look up to for the rest of their life. I'm
Mhm.
their mother.
Mhm.
Like, how do I look at my mother right now and her past and what she's done? And so I'm like, okay, I will not, what if these girls went through what I went through? I don't want them to ever go through what I do.
Yeah.
And if they do, I want them to know exactly how to handle it
Yeah.
and to be able to fall back on something that's theirs. So that's when I forced the healing, and it was not easy,
Yeah.
and sometimes, just like when you're healing any wound, it scabs, and sometimes you rip that scab off purposefully.
Mhm.
And sometimes it comes, it heals back up, and then you still have the scar.
Mhm.
But the scar reminds me of, I have to keep doing more. I have
Mhm.
to keep growing. I have to keep, you know, um, setting up some type of legacy for my daughters to fall back on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. 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 I knew this was gonna be good. So, I wanna switch gears just a little bit, and I wanna take it into more of what you've been building.
Mhm.
And obviously, you are a businesswoman, and which is how we met. And you are a successful businesswoman, and you are on the rise. And I want to ask you, what has been the hardest part about building your own brand as a businesswoman, all on her own, your name, your brand, your label? Like, how, tell me about that.
Um, I mean, for sure, consistency,
Yep.
but not just being consistent, being able to get over the insecurities.
Mm. Like, what kind of insecurities?
I mean, the insecurities of showing my face, on social media, the insecurities of overthinking the conversation before I have a conversation with somebody. In the very beginning, I used to think, man, business owners are business owners and they make all this money. And I'm just this single mom that's on food stamps right now, but how do I get them to buy from me? And I had to definitely shut down all of those.
I'm going to pause that
Yeah.
just for just 1 second.
Yeah.
I would like to highlight something.
Yeah.
At one point in time, you and your children were on food stamps.
Yes.
And now you have built this little mini empire, and you have, what, thousands of clients and hundreds of employees, right?
We're working on that.
What,
Yeah.
I mean, so how long did that transition take?
I've been doing this for about 5 years now.
Okay.
So, yeah, transition took about a good 3 years.
Okay.
I look back and I'm like, I don't know how I paid all my bills and all my rents and everything, but I mean, it was provided, and it happened, and I look back and I'm like, "Wow, we survived on for another year," and we just keep
You
going.
had a blast while you were doing it.
Oh, we did, we did. I tell you, when you're broke, you get very creative,
I know what that's like.
you know?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
can stretch your sandwich for days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know what, though? My daughters never went hungry,
Yeah.
and I did have help from my family as well,
Yeah.
so it wasn't, like, all on my own, but,
Yeah.
it was a struggle. It was a struggle in
Yeah.
the very beginning, and, yeah, I mean, going back to, like, building your brand, it was hard to build your brand as confident as you can, knowing you're like, "Okay, I gotta rob Peter to pay Paul to flirt with Jim to pay Peter," It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and I've had a lot of people that, those people know who they are. Sometimes my lights would have been turned off, and I would there's one girl, I'll keep her anonymous, but I was just venting like a girlfriend does. I was like, "Man, I gotta figure out how to make $500 right now so I can pay my electricity bill."
Sure.
And she's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Hey, I need your help with something." And she asked me a question about virtual assistants. I answered a question before I knew it, I had $500 in my account.
Wow.
She's like, "Go pay your electricity bill."
Wow.
She's all, "You're valuable." And I was like, so building my brand after that, I am blessed to say, because of people like that who helped me build my brand in the very beginning, every single one of my clients are referral based.
That's amazing.
Every single one. And it's just because I've learned how to build really good relationships with people, number one. But number two, I don't take any relationship for granted.
Yeah.
If you're giving me your time and even having any type of confidence in me, whether you hire me or not, I value it.
Amen to that.
So,
I love that. I love that. Your story is honestly, for me, it's very heartwarming. And there's a lot of little things that I didn't even know that I get to hear today for the first time. There's some things that we hadn't spoken about yet. And your story is every time I speak to you, I'm a little more inspired and a little more inspired and a little more inspired. And to those of you listening, the importance of, and the Bible talks about it a lot, is iron sharpens iron.
mhm.
And the importance of being around people that are like-minded is so important. And you push me to be better. And I love your story. It's one of definitely humility and rising above when things were definitely not going the best. I mean, talk about resilience. I mean,
Yep.
goodness gracious. Yeah.
Well, it's like you say, things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Amen to that. All day. All day. Romans 8:28, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
My daily reminder.
Absolutely. I love that.
Absolutely.
I
Yep.
love that. So I'm obviously not a mother. And I know there's going to be a lot of mothers who are listening, and there's
Mhm.
a lot of moms out there who are business owners and who are doing amazing things. And I am so utterly just mystified at the ability to juggle this responsibility, but this blessing that
Yeah.
you have in your life. And I wanted to ask, what practical advice would you give to a mom who has a dream,
Mhm.
but she feels buried underneath the responsibility? And let's just go with fear.
Number one, fear is just false evidence. What was that? What's it
False
called?
events appearing real.
There you go.
Yep.
And so fear is just not real.
Hmm.
If I was scared, I would not be where I'm at right now. I was
Yeah.
definitely scared going into it.
Yeah.
It's definitely hard
Hmm.
going into it. But if you do not follow your dreams, you're teaching your daughters or your children early to give up.
Mm,
You're
powerful.
you're teaching them now like, "Oh, mommy has a dream, but I'm not gonna follow it." You're going to duplicate yourself because your kids are going to, and I've seen this more and more, your kids are going to do what you do, not what you say.
Wow.
I can tell them all day long, "Clean your room," but if my room looks like a pigsty, they're gonna be like, "What the heck?"
Wow.
And it's something small like that because we always say, "How you do one thing is how you do everything."
Yeah.
So if you have a dream, you have a goal, and you have fear, that's normal. You're gonna have fear. I get it. But do it anyway.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if you're not afraid of that dream, then it's not a big enough dream.
Mm.
And I mean, me myself, I'm the look in my daughter's eyes when they see me on stage or when they see a photo of me, on announcing an event I'm gonna go do, or they're just like, "My mom is this, my mom is that," and it's just, like, the most amazing thing to hear and to see,
Yeah.
and it's like, if I would've been scared and just did what everybody else did, then I'm like, I don't want my kids to have what everybody else has.
Mhm.
I want them to be able to have more,
Mhm.
and that doesn't mean we're better than everybody else, but they deserve to have an above average life.
Mhm.
They deserve to have above average lifestyle
Mhm.
and experiences.
Mhm.
There's no way that I would have brought in my daughter to New York had I not just jumped in. I didn't know what I was doing, in the very beginning.
Sure.
I lost thousands of dollars. I
Mhm.
almost lost my house,
Mhm.
but I kept going
Mm.
because what else is there?
Yeah.
I could have went back to nursing. I was a nurse for 11 years, medical field. Could have went back to that. That was secure.
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, I loved it, but that means I was gonna have to be away from them longer.
Mm.
That means I was gonna have to literally pay another house payment just for childcare.
Mm.
To me, that's scary, and to me, that's not living a dream. That's surviving.
Mm.
I feel like now I'm actually thriving. I feel like I'm actually living. I feel like I actually have more control of my own life, my own schedule, my own routines. I'm healthier now. I'm, happier now. My kids are always around me, so if you're a mom out there what do you have to lose?
Mm.
Really think about that. What do you
Mm.
have to lose?
Mm.
And if it's materialistic things or if it's money, I will tell you right now, I'm the first one. Money comes to you easily and frequently.
Mhm.
If there's a way to get money, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Money's gonna come to you. If you really, really need it, it will come to you.
Yeah.
And so really think about your excuses because that's what they are. Excuses sound best to the ones making them.
Mhm. Mhm.
So really read those out to yourself and then go tell your excuses to your kids.
Mm. Wow.
And if you don't want to tell your excuses to your kids, then it's a really bad excuse.
Wow. 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 That was great. That was incredible. That was really good. So, since we do speak so much on this podcast
Mm.
about finance, and we spoke a little bit about finance and the financial woes and the struggles you've had, talk to me a little bit. I know you said we've spoken before about you're coming up with another book, a children's book on credit, and but tell me how credit, good or bad, has impacted you throughout your journey.
Well, it's impacted me very well, and it's
Mhm.
also impacted me not so well.
Yeah.
We bought our first house at 19 years old. You know, my first brand new car, 19 years old, my little Scion XB,
Yeah.
had great, great credit. We were approved for everything left and right.
Sure.
So for me, I thought it was like, oh, this is normal,
Yeah.
Then they gave a 23-year-old a $14,000 credit card, and I thought it was Oprah. And I'm like, and you get a TV. You get a TV. I was like buying everybody everything. And we maxed it out, and I was like, oh, well, we'll just pay it back later. We'll catch up
Yeah. Of
later. And
course.
obviously, I didn't understand what interest was at the time,
Sure. Sure.
and it kept piling on. But eventually, I definitely understood understanding like the power of credit. And again, 24 years old, I bought another house,
Yeah.
you know, bought a BMW,
Yeah.
went to school, went to nursing school, had a
Yeah.
boat. I mean, we had every single bells and whistle that you can think of because
Yeah.
credit was so good. We were paying on time, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Soon as our mindset shifted, though,
Mm.
it's not so much your credit. Your credit is the result
Mhm.
of your mindset shift.
Yes. I would agree with that.
And so as soon as we, mindset a little bit, it shifted over to now it was constantly feeling like you're never going to catch up,
Mhm.
constantly not getting approved,
Mhm.
constantly having to delay, on getting the things that we needed, getting foreclosed on,
Mhm.
you know, trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to go and get another house and have to convince these renters that I can get this house, but my credit's so bad. And, so it's so funny. It was actually a harder situation having bad credit than it was having good credit,
Sure.
you know? But the good thing is, because I was educated in it, I knew how to repair it, how to
Yeah.
fix it, and be able to bounce back.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing I love about credit is it's kind of like it's a reset button if you actually know where the button is, number one,
Yeah.
and how to push it,
Sure.
you know?
Sure.
And so, now starting over,
Mhm.
myself, I was able to go and get my first car by myself, all by myself, that was a great, great feeling.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fanciness that I always, was used to,
Yeah.
but it was mine.
Yeah.
And so, now I'm building up my credit again,
Yep.
thanks to
Yeah.
Give it credit. But, it's exciting to know that that reset button, I found it, I knew how to push it, and now I'm gonna be able to leverage it, and understand how the wealthy actually make their money. And somebody actually taught me something very, very valuable is wealthy people don't risk their own money. They don't risk their own money.
Mm.
If they wanna grow their money, they use other people's money, but in order
Mhm.
for you to be able to use other people's money, you have to have credibility. Right now, I'm building my own credibility so I can use other people's money to make me money
Mm.
and continue growing my journey off from that. And obviously, my company right now is just step one. I have goals and plans for other ventures, that I want to, but I understand I can't do that just with a dream and hopes. You
Sure.
gotta have the right tools.
Yes.
You have to have the right team,
Yeah.
and you have to have, obviously, the right credibility, and credit for sure is that tool.
I love that. I love that. That was great. And I wanted to ask a couple more questions. I wanted to ask you, what legacy do you, and I know this was unexpected for you. I know it wasn't something you had planned on writing,
Yeah.
but what legacy do you hope that Ronnie the Rhino leaves in the hearts of children and families?
Well, number one, I definitely feel like reading a book together as a family is
Mm.
way more impactful than just handing a book to your kid.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, people always ask me too, and you kind of brought this up in the very beginning, is what age is this book for? I said all ages, because adults need to read this as well. Children need to read it, teenagers need to read it, especially teenagers. And so I hope that this legacy is helps anybody who opens it and reads it for the first time, the second time, the third time, a reminder of who you are and that you are unique and that you are enough and that you can decide who you want in your life and who you don't want in your life. And that you can actually be a huge impact on other people by your actions. Because again, just like your kids, people are going to do what you do, not what you say.
Mm.
And even if they don't admit it or they don't say anything about it, somebody's going to walk away seeing that you did actually have a little bit of an impact
Yeah.
on them,
Yeah.
even if it's a small way.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Ronnie is the biggest bully in there ended up having the biggest insecurity.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden they were friends,
Yeah.
at the end of it. And if you end up having somebody to be your friend at the end of it, then great, you won.
Yeah.
If not, at least they can walk away feeling a little bit more better about themselves.
That's amazing. I
Mhm.
love that. If your younger self could see you now, the scars, the strength, and all, what do you think that she would say?
Hmm. I think she would say, "Why'd you let yourself get cut?"
Hmm.
I think she would say, um, "Thank you for not letting us fail."
Hmm.
I think she would say, I don't know. The younger self of me was, a little bit of what I am now, so I think she would say, "Wow, we grew up to actually be a pretty amazing person." And I'm blessed with 3 amazing little girls who are a piece of every small part of me, and I see myself. And then I think she would say that's pretty cool. That we duplicated ourselves so amazingly. But I think she would be angry if I ever gave up.
I love that. I love that. I have nothing else to say. I can't top that. That was really special. And so with that being said, from heartbreaking to healing, from Ronnie's roar to your own, you are living proof that uniqueness is not a flaw, it's a weapon. With that being said, before we wrap up, Michelle, can you please tell everyone where to find you and how to get Ronnie the Rhino?
Yes, so you can actually find me on Instagram, shewill.info, and Ronnie the Rhino is actually on Amazon.
I found it because I bought it.
Yeah. It's on Amazon, and you can get either a soft copy or you can even download the Kindle version of it. I actually have something for you actually here. Let's just show you here. So, number one, we got I wanted to donate some books, so I want you to pass these out. And we have books and bookmarks and stickers.
Amazing.
And we eventually have you a Ronnie the Rhino shirt.
Well, that is so cute. Oh, I love that. That is amazing.
That is for you.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, I love that. Such a powerful story. Thank you so much. I love this. You've been listening to the Rebuild and Rise show with Michelle Elise. Her story reminds us that broken does not mean finished. It means forged. Make sure to grab a copy of Ronnie the Rhino and follow Michelle's journey at shewillinfo on Instagram. And remember, your uniqueness is your birthright. Until next time, rise up and rebuild.